I hadn't even taken off my jacket when my dad said, "Didn't realize they let dropouts in here." His voice dripping with that familiar sarcasm, eyes glued to his phone screen. The words hit me like a sucker punch to the gut, freezing me in the doorway of our old family home. Snowflakes melted on my shoulders, the chill from the November night seeping through the wool, but it was nothing compared to the ice forming in my veins. The living room smelled of roasted turkey and cinnamon candles, Thanksgiving scents that should have warmed me, but instead they choked the air, thick with unspoken rot. My mom glanced up from the kitchen, her smile faltering, a dish towel twisting in her hands like she was wringing out years of tension. My sister, Lena, paused mid-scroll on her laptop, her eyes widening in that oh shit way siblings recognize before the storm hits. Dad chuckled to himself, thumb swiping upward. Reddit's gold today. Some guy's ranting about his kid bailing on college. Sounds familiar, huh, Alex? He finally looked up, his grin fading as he registered my face. Pale, jaw clenched, fists balled in my pockets. The room went silent except for the faint crackle of the fireplace, logs popping like distant gunfire. Fury boiled up from deep inside, hot and bitter, tasting like bile. How dare he? After everything. I hadn't come back to this godforsaken suburb in 3 years. Not since I'd packed my bags and left for Silicon Valley with nothing but a laptop and a burning need to prove them all wrong. I'd dropped out of Stanford. Not because I was a failure, but because Mom's cancer diagnosis had gutted us, and someone had to step up while Dad buried himself in work and whiskey. I'd taken online courses, built an app that tracked medical expenses and connected patients with support groups. It exploded, millions of downloads, venture capital pouring in. I was a millionaire at 25, featured in Forbes as the dropout who saved lives. But here in this house I was still the screw-up son. I forced a laugh, brittle and sharp. "Nice to see you too, Dad." My voice came out steadier than I felt, but inside my mind raced. Denial hit first. Maybe he didn't mean it that way. Maybe it was just his shitty sense of humor. But no, the resentment was already uncoiling, a snake in my chest, hissing memories I'd tried to bury. Mom hurried over, pulling me into a hug that smelled of lavender soap and faint chemotherapy residue. Even in remission, it lingered. "Ignore him, honey. He's been on that damn phone all day. Come in, take off your coat." Her arms were thinner than I remembered, her embrace desperate, like she knew the fragile piece was cracking. Lena shot Dad a glare. "Real classy, Pop Alex just got here." She was 22 now, finishing her degree in journalism, the good child who'd stayed the course. But her tone held an edge, a hint of solidarity that surprised me. Had things gotten worse since I'd left? Dad waved it off, setting his phone down with a clunk on the coffee table. "Just joking. Lighten up. Dinner's almost ready." But his eyes darted away, guilty, and that flicker ignited something in me, suspicion. Why Reddit? Why that exact phrase? It nagged at me as I shrugged off my jacket, the leather creaking like old bones. We sat around the dining table, the crystal glasses clinking awkwardly as Mom served the turkey, steam rising in lazy curls. The chandelier cast shadows that danced like ghosts on the walls, and outside, wind howled through the bare trees, rattling the windows. Conversation stumbled, Mom asking about my little tech thing, Lena sharing campus stories, but Dad was quiet, picking at his food, glancing at his phone every few minutes like it was a lifeline. Heartbreak clawed at me beneath the small talk. I'd come home hoping for. What? Reconciliation. A pat on the back. Instead, his words echoed, humiliating me all over again. I remembered the day I'd told them about dropping out. Mom's tears, Dad's red-faced rage. "You're throwing your life away," he'd shouted, veins bulging in his neck. But it was more than that. Later, I'd overheard him on the phone with his brother, spilling details about Mom's illness, twisting it to make me sound selfish. Kid couldn't hack it, using her as an excuse. That betrayal had stung, but I'd pushed it down, focused on building my empire. As dessert arrived, pumpkin pie with whipped cream that stuck to the roof of my mouth, I excused myself to the bathroom, needing air. Splashing water on my face, I stared at my reflection. Sharp jaw, tired eyes, success etched in the expensive haircut but not in the hollow cheeks. Doubt crept in. Was I overreacting? Maybe it was just a coincidence. But obsession took hold, that nagging pull. Back in the hall, I glanced at Dad's phone on the table. He'd stepped out for a smoke. My hand trembled as I picked it up, the screen lighting up with notifications. Reddit app open, r/mshole subreddit staring back. The top post. AIT for telling my dropout son he's a disappointment. My heart slammed against my ribs. The username. ThrowawayDad62. The story unfolded in paragraphs that mirrored our life. Mom's cancer, my dropout, but twisted. He painted me as lazy, entitled, leeching off them while he slaved away. Comments piled up. NTA tough love. YTA support your kid. But one comment jumped out. Didn't realize they let dropouts in here, with a laughing emoji. Dad had replied. Haha, exactly. Humiliation crashed over me like a wave, cold and suffocating. This wasn't a joke. It was him, airing our dirty laundry for internet strangers, farming karma while I rebuilt my life. Resentment turned to rage. How long had this been going on? I scrolled back. Months of posts, each one escalating. One about my son ghosting the family. Another wondering if I should cut him off. Lies, all of it. I'd sent money, called weekly, but he omitted that. I set the phone down, hands shaking, a cold resolve forming. This was betrayal, pure and vicious. He'd humiliated me publicly, anonymously, for what? Validation. Pity. The house felt smaller, the walls closing in, the fireplace's heat oppressive. I returned to the table, forcing a smile, but inside, fantasies swirled. Exposing him, ruining his precious online facade. But doubt nipped at the edges. Was revenge worth it? He was my dad, flawed but family. Mom needed stability. Lena idolized him in her way. The evening dragged, tension simmering like the coffee brewing in the kitchen. Dad cracked more jokes, but they landed flat, his laughter forced. Mom sensed it, her eyes pleading for peace. Tell us about your work, Alex. That app of yours, it's helping people, right? I nodded, describing it vaguely, but my mind was elsewhere, planning. I check his post history later, dig deeper. Subtle hints emerged. Lena mentioning Dad's online friends. Mom sighing about his late nights on the computer. Suspense built in my chest, a slow burn. What else had he said? Who had seen it? As night fell, snow blanketing the yard in eerie white, we retired to our rooms. Mine was unchanged, posters faded, bed sagging. Lying there, staring at the ceiling cracks like veins, guilt twisted in. Was I the villain for spying? But no, his betrayal justified this. Obsession gripped me. I grabbed my laptop, searched Reddit for his username. Posts stretched back years. Complaints about work, marriage, but always circling back to me, the failure. One post detailed a fabricated argument where I'd stolen money from my startup. Lies that could tank my reputation if linked. Heartbreak deepened. Why? What had I done to deserve this? Inner conflict raged. Part of me wanted to confront him, scream the truth. Another part whispered darker thoughts. Hack his account, post confessions, watch his world crumble. Fear held me back. What if Mom found out? What if it destroyed her? Morning brought false normalcy. Bacon sizzling, coffee percolating, the kitchen filled with golden light filtering through frosted windows. Dad was chipper, newspaper in hand, but his eyes avoided mine. Sleep well? He asked, voice too bright. Fine, I muttered, resentment bubbling. Dialogue revealed cracks. Over breakfast, Lena teased him about his Reddit addiction. He bristled. It's just harmless fun. Better than real-life drama. I nearly choked on my eggs. Harmless. It had cost me job offers early on, recruiters mentioning family issues from anonymous tips. Had he been behind that too? Suspense mounted as I probed subtly. What subreddits you into, Dad? He shrugged. This and that. Advice stuff. But his fork clattered, betraying nerves. The day unfolded in quiet calculation. We watched football, the crowd's roars from the TV masking our silence. Mom napped, Lena out with friends. Alone with him, tension thickened. I fantasized justice. A viral counterpost, exposing his hypocrisy. But moral conflict gnawed. Revenge made me like him, manipulative. By evening, as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the snow-dusted lawn, I discovered more. Sneaking into his study, the wood-paneled room smelling of dust and old books, I found his computer unlocked. Emails to a therapist. My son's abandonment haunts me. Abandonment. I'd left to heal, not hurt. Guilt surged, maybe he was broken too. But then a file. Screenshots of his posts saved like trophies. Cold resolve solidified. This wasn't pain, it was narcissism. He'd betrayed me for likes, turning our family into content. Part 1 ended there, the hook pulling me deeper into vengeance's grip. But the real storm was brewing. The second day blurred into a haze of feigned civility, the house a pressure cooker of unspoken accusations. Outside, the wind whipped snow into flurries, blurring the world like my thoughts. Chaotic, relentless. I helped Mom with chores, her frail hands trembling as she folded laundry, the fabric soft and worn like our bonds. "You've changed, Alex," she said softly, eyes searching mine. Stronger but distant. Her words pierced, guilt layering over resentment. Distant. I'd built walls to survive his sabotage. But heartbreak resurfaced. Mom had suffered most, caught in the crossfire. I hugged her, inhaling her scent, vowing silently. This revenge wasn't just for me. Dad lounged in his recliner, phone in hand, oblivious or pretending. Suspense coiled tighter. Every glance his way fueled my obsession. I'd spent the night mapping his digital footprint, cross-referencing posts with timelines. One from 2 years ago. AITA for not inviting my dropout son to my promotion party. He's a leech. Comments tore me apart, strangers judging based on lies. Had gone viral, 10K upvotes. Had friends seen it? Investors. Doubt assailed me during lunch. Grilled cheese sandwiches, cheese oozing like melting resolve. Was I paranoid? Maybe he vented anonymously, no harm done. But no, a quick search revealed links. His username tied to a local forum, real name slipping in a comment. If I pushed, it could unravel him. Dialogue heightened tension. As we cleared plates, clinking porcelain echoing, I tested waters. Ever worry about privacy online, Dad? People can find anything. He paused, water running in the sink like a confession. Nah, I'm careful. Why? Just curious. Suppressed rage simmered in my tone, but he didn't notice, humming as he dried dishes. Manipulation gleamed in his eyes. Had he always been this way? Layered now, I saw his motivations. A mid-level manager, unfulfilled, using me as scapegoat for his failures. Moral complexity hit. He wasn't evil, just weak, craving attention Mom's illness had stolen. Afternoon brought quiet planning. In my room, laptop humming softly, fan whirring like my racing mind, I drafted a response. Not direct, too obvious. Instead, a subreddit post from a concerned friend, linking his stories, exposing inconsistencies. Fantasies escalated. Hack his account, I had the skills. Post apologies, donate his karma to charity mocks. But fear gripped, legal risks, family fallout. Lena cornered me in the hall, her ponytail swinging, voice a whisper. What's going on? You look like you're plotting murder. I hesitated, then spilled partially, the posts, the lies. Her face paled, betrayal mirroring mine. That bastard. I saw him typing late nights, thought it was work. She revealed more. Dad's jealousy of my success, whispers to relatives. He resents you for escaping this town. Alliance formed, suspense building. Help me. Yes. She nodded, eyes fierce. But carefully. Mom can't handle more stress. Evening descended, the house creaking under snow's weight, lights flickering from a brewing storm. Dinner was tense. Pot roast juices pooling like blood. Dad monologued about work, but his laughs rang hollow. I watched him, cold resolve hardening. After, as Mom retired early, fatigue etching her face, we three sat by the fire. Flames danced, casting demonic shadows. "Remember when you dropped out?" Dad said suddenly, voice laced with false nostalgia. "Thought the world ended. But look at you now." Hypocrisy fueled my rage. "Yeah, look at me." Suppressed fury leaked, but he missed it, scrolling again. That night obsession peaked. Thunder rumbled outside, rain mixing with snow, pattering like accusations. I executed phase 1. Using a VPN, I commented on his latest post. Anonymously, of course. "Sounds fake." "Proof." His reply came quick. Defensive, rambling. Hook set. Morning 3. Power outage from the storm, candles flickering, air thick with wax scent. Dad grumbled, phone battery low. "Perfect." Lena distracted him with board games. Monopoly pieces clacking, laughter forced, while I accessed his computer. Files confirmed. He'd emailed post drafts to himself, insurance against deletion. One twist. A confession in a private doc. "I exaggerate for sympathy. Alex isn't that bad, but it helps me cope." Guilt stabbed, human after all. But resentment won. Coping at my expense. Pacing intensified tension. Slow moments of doubt, then bursts of action. Copied everything, heart pounding like drumbeats. Moral conflict raged. Revenge or forgiveness. Fantasies shifted. Not destruction but exposure. Post his doc online, let him face consequences. Climax built as power returned, lights buzzing on. Dad checked his phone, face draining of color. My comment had sparked a thread. Users doubting, digging. "This guy's a serial liar," one said. Panic in his eyes. "What the hell?" he muttered. Confrontation loomed. Over coffee, steam rising like secrets unveiled, I said calmly. "Problem, Dad?" He stammered. "Just trolls." But Lena pressed. "Or truth catching up." The dam broke. He confessed, haltingly, tears welling. "I was angry. You left us. Needed to vent." Betrayal's depth hit. Not just posts but sabotage. He'd anonymously tipped my early investors about family issues, stalling my startup. "For your own good," he claimed. "To bring you home." Rage exploded, but I held back cold. "You ruined me for control." Mom entered then, drawn by voices. Heartbreak etched her face as truth spilled. Posts, lies, jealousy. She collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Guilt crushed me. Had I pushed too far? Revenge's payoff. I revealed my plan. "I could expose you fully. Ruin your job, reputation." He begged, broken. But twist, I didn't. Instead, I deleted his account remotely, skills from my app days, and made him promise therapy, amends. Poetic justice. His online empire crumbled, forcing real connection. Yet unexpected consequence. Mom confessed her part, encouraging his vents to save the marriage. Layered betrayal, family web. As I left, jacket on, snow melting under sun, resolve lingered. Revenge tasted bittersweet, obsession fading to quiet. But in the rear view, the house shrank, a chapter closed. Or was it?